Maps I find historic. Postcard celebrating the opening of the Panama Canal as the kiss of the oceans. Oh, that's so cool. So this is from 1915, this artwork. Look, they got two ladies and they're gonna shove their tongue through the canal. Well, that's nice. What everyone should know, canal statistics. Length of canal, 50.5 miles. 8 years of work, cost $300 million. Work begun US May 4th, 1904. This is so interesting. Yearly saving of millions to the shipping world, and that is still very true to this day. Because if the boats couldn't go they'd have to go all the way around South America. That's really interesting. Map of 12 European countries illustrating various legends for a 1912 book titled Stories of Old. Ed Hads. Oh, this is so cool. Why have I not looked at historical maps before now? So I'm assuming we've got St. George slaying the dragon over on the British Isles. That looks absolutely incredible. This fella's cooking a baby. That's not ideal. Is there any others that I can recognize? I'm assuming this is St. Patrick's, seeing as it's Ireland. According to legend, he got rid of the snakes in the 5th century. Honestly, the art here is absolutely epic. Look at the Iceland one. Look at the way it's been done with the eagle. These are really, really good. Ottoman map of the Americas, 1908. That was just unusual to see Eastern text on a Western map. An 1853 relief map of Italy with statistical tables. Not sure I've ever looked at Italy from this angle before. Oh, but check out these statistical tables. Very nice. Japanese population by US state in 1940, printed 1942. Oh, a bit of a bad time to make a Japanese US population map, but interesting seeing how high it is in California. I guess that makes sense with Japan being over there. One of the oldest surviving ptolemy maps from the Byzantine era, 1420. Enhance. Right, we've got UK. I assume that's UK anyway. Oh, look at the cherub, fellas. Oh my god, look at that. I can't understand any of the text, which I mean, I guess makes sense since it was written in 1420, but we can recognize Europe, definitely. Africa's not quite right. We do have what I assume is the Nile over here, though. Oh, I can kind of read the word Arabia. This is crazy to look at. Whoa, what's going on here? Over in kind of China, Mongolia area, we've got some two-headed red ladies and some crabs and stuff. Oh, what a cool map. From a distance, though, it does look like the ocean's been filled in and felt tip. Anyone else? Oh, it's another one. Anthropomorphic maps of various European countries published in an 1868 book titled Geographical Fun. Oh my god, the art looks amazing. As if this was 1868 that these were drawn. Do you know what? For 1868, I'm surprised it doesn't look more racist. I suppose it's because it's only depicting Europe, but it looks so cool nonetheless. Whoa, map of London from 1836. London obviously much, much bigger these days. Oh, hang on. 1866 strip map showing a 2,600 miles of Mississippi River from its delta to its source at Lake Itasca. Oh my god, I've never seen a strip map before, so it's rolled up like toilet roll. That is unreal. I suppose it's a way of following the river. You just kind of do it a strip at a time. Oh, you just unravel more and more. How long is it? Well, I suppose it's 2,600 miles, isn't it? So it's going to be a really long way. That is incredible. There it is, July 1866. God. I want a strip map. There's got to be a strip map at an antique shop somewhere. That's what it looks like zoomed out. Oh, we're going even older. A 1785 Japanese world map featuring Terra Australis, the hypothetical southern continent. Terra Australis was not based on any survey or direct observation, but rather on the idea that Earth must be balanced. The northern mass would surely have a vast southern counterpart. Interesting concept. Obviously now understand that it doesn't work like that, but I get the logic. So yeah, they just thought there was a huge mass of land over down where Antarctica is. It's a really cool map when you look closely with the text and all the little mountains and stuff. A 1535 map of Britain and Ireland featuring the mythical island Brazil, also known as Hy-Brasil. Well, where is it? Is it this little fella? Hy-Brasil? What are you doing down there? Oh, I visited the Vatican yesterday, and it was a nice surprise for a map nerd like me to find this incredible hallway of old maps. They're all gorgeous. Just saying, I could go to Vatican for 1 million subscribers. I visited the smallest country in the world, and then I'll stand in this very corridor. Edeka, you've been, and you said you had a lovely time. Freistadt Danzig. As someone who's fluent in German, or should I say Deutsch, I can tell you that Stadt means city, so I assume that says Free City of Dancing. Well, that's nice. The Da Vinci globe, dated 1504. Alright, oldest thing in the video so far. Oldest known globe to show the new world, engraved with immaculate detail on 2 conjoined lower halves of ostrich eggs. That is incredible. 1504. That is crazy. I want it. Do you think they'd accept like 100 quid for that? So I can't work out which area they think this is. Is it meant to be North America? Is it meant to be South America? Because obviously there's quite a lot of stuff missing, but it is incredible nonetheless. Portugal is not a small country. A 1951 postcard comparing the land area of Portugal and its colonies to that of the United States. As if in 1951 there were still colonies. Oh god. So I'm not gonna lie, for a postcard called Portugal is not a small country, they've made it look pretty small. But you can see they were responsible for Angola and Mozambique at the time, which also managed to fit into the US. Even if it includes horrible colonies, it's a nicely designed postcard. What 16th century Ottomans thought Europe looked like on top of an actual map of Europe. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you can see that it's pretty accurate in these areas where Ottomans were involved. But then you get over to Scotland, for example, and I mean, they've had an absolute nightmare. What's that? Is that Hy-Brasil? Oh, early Greek and Roman geographers believed that humans couldn't live further north than Ireland due to inhospitable climate, which may explain why Scotland veers so abruptly in this 1545 map of Britain and Ireland. It gets to the top of Ireland and they just turn Scotland on its side. Chinese map of the Eastern Hemisphere, 1799. Oh, this Chinese map has made China way too big. Come on, guys. To be fair, maybe they just owned more land at this point in time, which is also very likely. But it's another very cool map. Oh, similar style to that other one, Korean map from the 1800s. A lot less accurate than the Chinese one. I mean, what's even going on there? Where am I looking? Is this the Americas over on this side? I don't know. Oh, I'm really pleased with how my old maps gallery is coming together. That looks epic. Very, very nice. Check out my map, by the way. Hang on, turn my lights off. Oh, look at that. It's got all the flags on and everything. It's very, very nice. Oldest surviving map of Constantinople, 1422. I think we might have a new oldest map of the video. Not gonna lie, this bit down here looks a bit dodgy, doesn't it? World map created around 1490 featuring the Dragon's Tail, a phantom peninsula in the southeast of Asia. Ah, so they thought that Asia curved downwards round this way. Africa obviously looks very, very different as well. What I have noticed on these maps is they always nail Italy. Italy always just looks exactly right, no matter how many hundreds of years old the maps are. Comparative size of lakes and islands from 1855. Alright, we've got British Isles here, and we can compare that with the size of Java, Sicily, Sardinia, Cyprus is down there. And I love seeing all the lakes. Look at all of these Scottish lochs up here. That's incredible. It looks like a map that shows different whales or fish or something, doesn't it? Poseidon caresses a mermaid in this 16th century map of Italy. Oh, let's see some caressing. Oh, there we go. Go on, Poseidon. Providing the mermaid gave consent, of course. A map of Ireland depicting men and women of different social classes from 1610. We'll have a look. Gentleman of Ireland, gentlewoman of Ireland, the civil Irish woman, the civil Irish man, and then finally the wild Irish man and the wild Irish woman. Look at a nice big coat. I'd rather be a wild Irish woman. Oh, we've got a new oldest map, a 10th century world map created by Ibn Hawqal and reproduced around 1445. That doesn't count then, does it? Originally orientated with south at the top. I'm not really recognising anything there, to be honest. Is this Europe, this little squiggle? And that's probably Italy. I guess thinking about it, it makes sense that Italy's always drawn accurately because the Romans came from Italy. So it probably literally was just one of the most accurately mapped out places in the world for such a long time. Oh, a map of Iceland created around 1585 featuring various sea monsters. Each monster is named and described on the verso. The birch valur has very strong teeth, of which they make chess pieces, while the narval's large front tooth is described as a powerful medicine used against poison. What is going on? Oh my god, look how epic they all are. Whoa, look at that one. It's amazing. Look at that one. Look at his big nose. This one's shooting water out of its ears. And we've just got bulls floating about. This is one of the coolest maps I've ever seen. Oh, look at all the polar bears on there melting icebergs. And this is from 1500s. Look at it just on fire here. So there must be a volcano on this bit of Iceland. Oh man, what a cool map to finish on. Thank you very much for watching. Also, thank you to Becky who said I should do a video about historical maps. Make sure you subscribe if you've not already. Let's get to 1 million subscribers and I will see you later.